sure that we're streaming to Facebook because we are streaming this to our Facebook group, and we are fantastic. All right. Hello, everybody.
Sure.
Welcome to Moms Love Coaching. This is our group. This is our Facebook group. We have another Facebook page, but we started this group for all moms, and we'll get into why we started this group in a minute. But if you are watching this and you are a mom, then this group is for you. We welcome all moms in all stages of life, no matter how many kids you have, even if you're pregnant for the first time, all moms are welcome in this group. So welcome. So what we're going to do tonight, this is our first live as Moms Love Coaching. And what we are going to do tonight is just kind of give you a background of Moms Love Coaching, introduce ourselves, so you can kind of get to know us. And we are going to be doing these lives every 2 weeks to start. We may do more. Maybe we'll have bonus ones in between, but we're going to plan to do them every 2 weeks. There'll be a different topic every 2 weeks. There'll be a different topic. And if you have a topic that you are interested in that you want us to talk about, just write in the comments what you would like us to talk about, and we can incorporate that into our lives. We'll be happy to do that because we are here for you, and we want to make sure that you are getting everything out of this that you need. So before I talk about the Facebook group a little bit more, I am going to introduce myself. My name is Carrie McFarland. I am a life coach. I coach moms. My former coaching practice was coaching moms with teen daughters. And now I have partnered with Angie, and now I coach all moms. So that's a little bit about me. I've been a life coach for a little over 2 years now. And I love it. It's fantastic. I love talking to moms. I love helping moms with all the different issues. Now, I will say that, and we'll also get into life coaching a little bit too, but if you're wondering if life coaching is for you, then I would say it is. Because
it is.
It always is. It always is, because even if there is one tiny little issue that you have that is bugging you, that you can't get out of your brain, that is causing you to think negative thoughts about yourself, that is affecting your life in some way negatively, even if it's a small way, then coaching can help you tease that out, figure out what's going on, and help you to become aware of the reasons why you're thinking that, so you can change your actions going forward and create new results. So that's just a tiny little synopsis of what coaching is. But coaching basically helps you to become aware of your own thoughts and feelings, so you can then be aware of the actions you're taking, because the actions that you take will create the result. Okay. And so I don't want to get too much into that now, because we will be having a longer episode on that in a few weeks. But if you're wondering if life coaching is for you, then I would say, yes, it is. It helps immensely in ways that you can't even imagine. So I'll also go into my story a little bit later. But first, before we do all that, I want to introduce Angie, Coach Angie. I have partnered with Angie. If any of you watching this have read my emails, I have been singing her praises in those emails. Angie is fantastic. She is a wonderful coach, and she is an awesome addition. I'm happy to be able to partner with her during this, and you guys are going to love her. That's it. You're going to love her. So I'm going to let Angie introduce herself so you can learn a little bit more about Angie.
So when Carrie was introducing herself, I was thinking, yeah, we've known each other for 2 years because we met during our coach certification.
Yeah.
there's a group of us from that group that have stayed together and support each other as we have been developing ourselves as life coaches. So uh, I am an educator. I work in my local school system. I was a teacher for, I don't know, 18, 19 years, taught elementary, sixth grade, and then seventh and eighth grade. So mostly sixth grade in elementary, but then seventh and eighth grade math. And then spent 3 years as an assistant principal. And when now I work for my system as director of curriculum, but when Carrie was talking about her coaching clients, and I was in another niche, but I knew that I was interested in education, and I'm like, let me think about, let me talk to Carrie about working together. How could we support um, moms together? What might that look like? And so we've come up with this idea that we are here to help you love being a mom, and because we know how hard it is, and we'll talk more about our own journeys as mothers. Before we started, I was telling Carrie, I did it the hard way because I didn't know about coaching when I was raising my kids. Um, and the last handful of years that I have been more involved in the life coaching world, what a difference it's made with how I relate to my youngest two children. So my poor oldest didn't get the benefit of this, but that's the way it goes, right, Carrie?
That's
You
right.
make mistakes, you learn from them, and then you move on.
Right.
So that's why I'm here. I think that coaching, everybody should have a coach. There's so many things that we aren't able to see in our own in our own patterns of thinking that a coach can point out and really help us to decide whether or not we want to continue thinking that way. And chances are, if you're getting results that you don't like in your life, if you're looking at your life and things are not the way that you envision them, wish they were different, then there's something that you might be able to change. And that's what we're going to do to help
Mm-hmm.
you get there. So,
Yeah.
and we'll be talking about that a lot on the Facebook Lives.
Yeah. It's empowering. I think that's a good word for it, right? It's empowering. It any kind of awareness that you can have about yourself and your situation, it empowers you because it gives you choices. And when you have choices, then you have the ability to basically choose what you want. So that's another reason that coaching is uh, so valuable, because you're able to see choices that you never saw before. So in that way, it is life changing. So so Angie talked a little bit about struggling with her oldest, and I had the same experience. My oldest is 19 now, and I unexpectedly struggled with her from the time that she was a baby until her mid-teen years, early-ish mid-teen years. I had anxiety. I have anxiety, although I've learned how to manage it much more effectively. But at the time, I didn't actually know that I had anxiety because my anxiety didn't cause me to hide or run away. My anxiety was in the form of anger. So it presented as me being angry. I would feel very anxious about something, and I wouldn't even notice the anxious part because it would quickly go to anger. So having my first baby kind of kind of threw me into this cycle. I was just off. My whole I mean, this is me saying this looking back. At the time, I had no idea what was happening, but my nervous system was completely off kilter and I had no idea. So any little thing that happened that other people would see as no big deal, for me, it was huge, and it was very scary. And my mind would go 100 miles an hour about what if, what if, what if, what if, what if, what if. And because of that, I was super on edge all the time. So then when anything happened, I would quickly go to anger. And so that's kind of how I lived my life for the first 15 years of my daughter's life, unfortunately for her.
Doesn't sound very pleasant.
I know. Now, don't get me wrong. There was lots of like craft time, snuggles, and reading time, and all of that. But you know, there was a lot of, you know, mommy going from 0 to 100 on the anger scale in a split second. And because I was so dysregulated and I didn't know that, number one, I blamed everybody else around me. And number two, sometimes, honestly, it would take me days to actually calm down. Part of that was because I was so dysregulated. Part of that was because I would get re-triggered about stuff, and so I didn't have a chance to calm down. Like, I didn't know enough to like move. I didn't know enough about taking care of myself in a way that would not only minimize those reactions, but to, you know, help just eliminate them. Right. I didn't know. I didn't know any of this. So that's what coaching brought to me. It brought me awareness, and it was sort of like dominoes. Once I got coached, it was like I got coached and she said something to me and it just triggered all these things. And I was like, oh, that's why this happened. And that's why that happened. And now it's a process. It took a while for me to truly understand how I am and to change my thoughts and feelings and behaviors. But it was the start of my awareness. And it basically changed everything. It changed how I react and interact with everybody now. I am so much more aware of myself that I am able to either stop myself from, you know, getting wound up, or realize it very quickly after and pull myself back. So in that way, I've been able to change everything about my life.
It reminds, can I interrupt you?
Yeah, I was just going to say, Angie, what do you have to say about it?
It reminds me of, I remember my first year as an assistant principal, and you know, a lot of that work is helping kids solve their problems. I worked in a K-8 school, and the school counselor, well, actually, at the time, she was a local mental health clinician a school-based clinician. And we were chatting, and she was talking about some of the work that she was doing with students that she was meeting in small groups or one-on-one. And she was talking to me about this idea of the gap, and not the gap like the clothing store, but that gap. And I think that's what Carrie was alluding to, that gap between something that happens, your kid does something, your kid says something, there's a situation, and then how you react. And that very small space between what happens and your reaction is where coaching can help you to expand that space, to stop the reaction so that you can take more space to actually breathe and think and be intentional about how you respond. Yep. That's where your power is, in that gap. And she was teaching like kindergartners and first graders this concept. So
That's
whole
fantastic.
is that if a first grader can learn it, so can I. You know, but it's a practice
Yeah.
definitely to learn that you don't have to react. You can respond to very different approach
Right.
to things that your kid does, things that your partner does, things that that can send you over the proverbial edge, right?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
I really wish, I will be getting more into our parenting stories, but in later episodes. But we wanted to, today just talk about in general, parenting for me was like this is just natural for me. I was one of those kids that grew up with, I had was always around babies, my neighbors, uh, they babysat, so there were always little kids around and stuff, and I loved taking care of the babies and hanging out with their grandchildren once they had grandchildren and stuff. And then of course when I was a teenager, my older sisters had kids, and I was like always at their houses taking care of the babies. And so having the baby wasn't the problem for me. It was like raising the baby with my husband, and in a way that was consistent. And then our firstborn was very, very energetic, very probably had more anxiety than we realized, what we know now. And then our own rules that we had for ourselves as parents, what we were supposed to be doing,
Yeah.
how he behaved was a direct reflection on how good parents we were. And so I think when I started doing this work with life coaching, I started to realize that my identity as a mother didn't need to be wrapped up in who my children were or how they were behaving or the choices they were making. And now, as the mother of um, a grown man with his own children and two young adults, my youngest two are the youngest one will be 19 in a few days. Um, it, it's a very different approach to helping them be who they are without me taking it personally.
Yeah.
And that's what coaching has done for me. It's helped me to uncover that piece that out, understand like, hey, why is this getting to me so bad? Or when I reflect on how I showed up in a situation and I did not show up in a way that I was proud of, how I could understand and have some compassion for myself. Because in the past it was like beat myself up and pile on. I'm a terrible mother. I'll
Hmm.
never get this parenting down. And then it like, who am I to have any opinion about anybody else's parenting? And so
Yeah.
it was definitely a journey that I very much wish I had had that support
Yeah.
when my son was younger, growing up. And I apologize for my animals in the background because the basement door must be open.
That's life. There we
Yeah,
go.
the kids come. I mean, the kids.
Yeah.
My fur babies are coming in, and they are messing up my background here. Can't have that. So
But actually, that's a good segue because it's like that is exactly how we want this group to be, right? It's real, it's
you know,
honest, it's genuine. We don't, we're not going to pretend here. We're not going to, try to word things in a way that that won't offend people. I mean, I hope I don't offend you, but that's not going to be on my mind because I'm going to just talk about stuff the way that it happens because that's real, right? That's real motherhood. All the different things that happen, all the different feelings and emotions and I mean, just thinking, all the thoughts that come to your head, like I shouldn't have even had kids. Why did I have kids? And somebody else should be their mother. Why am I their mother? I'm just going to drive away and not come back. And like all those things that go through your head, right? I mean, it happens.
The fantasy of living alone on an island.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Or, an apartment down the street, just as a hypothetical.
You never thought of that before? Yeah.
Yeah, my tiny house obsession. Like, that's big enough for just one person. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, my fantasy of late is like, what if we just sell the house? Then what will the young adults do? I jokingly call them the tenants, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Like, I guess they'd have to figure out their life.
Right. But yeah, so we want this group to be real. We're going to have topics. Again, if you guys have topics, if you see, no matter when you're seeing, if you're seeing this now, if you're seeing this later, if you have topics, tell us what you think. Tell us what you would want to hear about, because that's what we want to talk about. We want to talk about what you want to hear about. So otherwise we'll just keep talking. We can talk.
I have a feeling we won't lack for words.
The other thing, the thing that you said, Angie, about responding versus reacting and not taking things personally, those two things are, I think, the hardest thing for a mom to do, especially the not take it personally. Because, and it's, for me, it was a little easier when they were little, right? Because they're toddlers or they're school age and they say stuff and you're like, oh, they're just having big emotions. And, but when they get to the point where they know what they're saying and they say things to you, or they do things that they know are going to either hurt you or upset you, to not take those things personally is super hard. And it
super hard because they know what button to push.
Yes, exactly. And so then we're left with all of our stuff coming up and not knowing what to do with it and thinking, I should know how to deal with this. I should know what to do. And I don't. And, they hate me and I'm not really liking them right now either. And, all those things that come up. Then when things calm down, you think about it and you're in that shame blame cycle, like you're feeling terrible, but how could I think those things? How could I say those things? Right. And then you beat yourself up about it. And it just starts this whole cycle of just feeling terrible about yourself and not knowing how to get out of it. And so those are the kinds of things that we want to talk about here. And then there was something else we wanted to talk about, Angie. There was the, what was it?
Different topics that we can talk about here. I could look at.
I feel like there was one more thing that we wanted to touch on.
Did you want to talk about why it went from mom's work to mom's?
Oh, that's what it was. Yes, thank you. That's what it was. So for those of you who have been following me through mom's work coaching, that was my coaching practice where I coached moms with teen daughters. It was very specific, mom with teen daughters. But I saw a need, like it started feeling a little exclusive to me, and I wanted to be more inclusive. I want all moms of all stages, because I think about, when my kids were little and I needed help, right? I mean, yes, I needed help when they were or they are still teens, but those earlier teen years, I needed help with that. But I also needed help when they were little. And if I had coaching or known about coaching when they were little, like that would have been the biggest game changer. And things would have turned out much different. And so I started thinking about it, and I really wanted to have a place where all moms could go, regardless of how many kids, whether they're boys or girls, what their ages are, what stage of life you're in. It doesn't matter. If you're a mom, you're welcome here, and we want to be able to coach you. So, and that's the other thing. I want to talk about the Facebook group a little bit. So, this Facebook group is going to be a place where you can type in and support each other. It's also going to be a place where we support you. So if you have questions or things that you're dealing with that you want coaching on, we can coach you through this group. If you need a little, more one-on-one help, then we can talk about that. But our goal is to help as many moms as possible, and we're going to use this group to do it. So all the Facebook lives will live here. Anything that we put out, any kind of content or just anything that we make available to you will live in this group. Everything that we do as Moms Love Coaching will live in this group. And if you have questions, or you would like help with something, then either you can ask it in the group or you can message us privately, and we would be happy to help you. We also have an Instagram page at momslovecoaching.com. We have a YouTube page, which isn't quite populated yet, but it will be. So it's coming. It has some Moms Work coaching things on there, which are still helpful, but we don't have the Moms Love coaching things on there. So if you are curious, you can go to Moms Work Coaching on YouTube and you'll find it. It'll have the Moms Love logo, but it'll still be Moms Work Coaching for now. So that's really what I wanted to say about the group. I'm trying to think if I forgot anything. But we want this to be as easy as possible. So we want this to kind of be a one-stop shop for you. So anything, any questions, anything you're looking for, any support that you need, come to this group, the Moms Love Coaching Facebook group, and you'll be able to find it. Do you have anything to add, Angie?
I do. I think you basically covered it. It's like bring your celebrations, bring your struggles, bring questions that you have. If you want advice, if you want just to vent, if you want to offer a suggestion, those are the kinds of things, like having the conversation. That's what we want to do. Have the conversation that is supportive and real, because this is momming.
Yeah, momming
is
it's not easy.
It's tough stuff.
Yeah. So, it's not a soft skill.
It is not.
It is hard.
It is not.
And we need all the support we can get, and that's what we want to give you. We want to give you the support that you need. So that's what this group is for. So that's really all we have for tonight. We will be doing this again in a couple of weeks. We'll send out an invite. We will send out or an email. We will send out an event through Facebook. So spread the word, invite your friends. Come join us. We want to have you.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. All right, everybody. That's what we have. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.